Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ride to Independence. I am here with Patti Morello. Hi,
Hi.
Patty.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Great. Patty, can you share with everyone how old you are?
I am 59 and a half, technically.
Excellent.
I
Excellent.
tell people on April 12th I'll be 12 for the 5th time, but, we all know that's 60, but 'cause at heart, that's what
So
I
we're
am.
both Aries. We're both Aries.
Oh,
I'm an
cool.
Aries too. So
So we're gonna get along
this
just
says a
great.
lot about you, Patty. This is why you're so energetic, why you're so strong and resilient.
Thank you.
It's that airy sign that keeps us going and very strong and a lot of energy and a lot of optimism.
Definitely.
Optimism.
I am the
Yes.
eternal
Yes.
optimist.
Yes, absolutely. So Patty, your journey has been one of an incredible transformation. Let's talk about that. Let's
Okay,
talk about that
sure.
because let's share a bit about your early years. You're a
Okay.
child that overcame abuse.
Mhm.
And I like to share that with people because there's a
Sure.
lot of people who need your wealth of information, your, talk to us about how you came out of that trauma. And you also have PTSD from from your abuse, correct?
I do, I have complex
So,
PTSD. Which is
okay.
a little
So
more
let's talk
than
about
just
that.
PTSD,
When,
but yeah,
oh, okay. Okay. So
yeah.
tell us, Patty, when did the abuse start?
Um, to my knowledge,
How old were you? Do you
I was
remember?
3. The first time I was
You were
molested,
3
I was
years old.
3, yeah, 3 years old, and it continued by multiple predators throughout my life, on and off my until I was, violently raped as a college student when I was 20. So, um, that was kind of it was all those years. During all those years, there were things that were happening, but the worst of it was when I was a young child and didn't really even understand what they were doing to me and why. There were these
Right,
drunk
right.
men that would come home from the bar with my parents. Um, my dad was an alcoholic, and usually he would call my mom to come pick him up, and sometimes she would bring someone else back with them, or, someone else was drunk too and needed a ride, and rather than bringing him home, they'd bring him to our house, and they would always find their way to me. There was one in particular who would always find his way to my bedroom, um, and molest me and threaten me and tell me my
Unbelievable.
parents would kill me if they ever found out, and as a little kid, I believed him. I was, like, 5 at that time, and,
Of course.
you know yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
there was a lot of fear involved and just
Right, because you're a little
a little girl, not knowing
yeah,
why they're doing this to me,
because
begging them to not do
yeah,
this to me, and not understanding anything. So, I just, you know,
right.
learned to
And your
freeze.
parents not realizing what was happening in the next room, and your
Exactly.
parents not realizing what was happening in the next room.
No, they didn't know.
Yeah,
They had no
yeah.
idea.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah.
How did your upbringing shape you, um, the way you saw yourself and the sense of resilience that you have for life now?
It was a journey.
How did
It was
how did
not
that shape you? Yeah.
originally, it really taught me that boundaries don't exist, which is not true, of
Mm,
course. I've had to learn that later.
yeah.
In fact, sometimes I'm still learning that, to be honest. But I didn't believe that saying no or stop or don't do that to me ever meant anything, because even when I was a teenager, there were friends of my brother's who would find me where I was babysitting and force me to do things, and, you know, threaten me that if I didn't do this, they were gonna
Mm.
tell everyone that I did anyway. So it was like nothing my word didn't mean anything, and that was what I
Right,
believed
right.
for a long time, and I ended up being able to be an exchange student in Germany for a year where for an entire year, I experienced quote unquote normal life where there was no abuse. There was no
Mm.
one forcing me to do things I didn't want to do. And I was like, whoa, this is
Yeah,
different. This is really something
yeah,
incredible. Like, wow.
yeah.
Um, and I came
Right.
back and unfortunately things picked up where they left off. And it was rough, and I did a lot of traveling while I lived in Germany, and while I was in Greece, I was drugged and woke up in a pool of blood that was really scary. My clothes were torn. I don't remember anything except waking up in the middle in a pool of blood and grabbing what clothes I could and ran and, you know, had no idea where I was. Just it was terrifying.
Yeah,
So then I came back to the States and went to college and, you know, I didn't really, it was hard, like, it was really I didn't care anymore after a while. The depression from it all was starting to get to me, and, of course, I always
mhm,
thought it was my fault because they were always telling me, "Oh, Patty, if you weren't so pretty, we wouldn't do this to you." Or, "I wouldn't do this to you, Patty, but you're just too pretty. You're too cute. You're this, you're that. This is your fault. You shouldn't look this good." And so I developed this complex that there was just like a sign on my forehead that said, "Please rape me, please violate me, please hurt me." And no matter what I did to avoid it,
right. Yeah,
once someone started doing something, I would freeze. And that's the complex PTSD is
right,
that freezing where you can't move. You're literally stuck and you can't fight them off. You can't do anything, and you just freeze. And the one time I did try to fight
right.
someone off while I was in New York City in college at NYU, um, he beat the crap out of me and, left me bruised and bloody, and so I learned
Mm,
not to fight back
yeah,
and just tried to avoid everything I could, I didn't,
yeah,
I mean, I had a boyfriend at one point, but, you know, I didn't really share everything with him and just kind of kept to myself
right.
about things.
Were you able now that you mentioned you had a boyfriend, did your were you able to be different with your boyfriend because it was a loving relationship? Or was it hard for you guys to was it hard for you to keep a boyfriend because of what you went through
Um,
in your life?
it was weird. I mean,
Mm,
yeah, it was hard to hold on to it because I was like I didn't care about sex. Like I just stopped
right,
caring.
right.
It just didn't mean anything to me anymore,
Well,
you
of
know?
course, because you had experienced sex in an abusive way. You
Exactly.
didn't experience sex in a normal, loving way,
No.
which every person or girl and boy are supposed to experience.
Yeah.
So you were raised feeling it, in a negative way.
Yeah.
And what gets me, Patty, is that your mother did not see any signs of you being distant or
I hid it very well.
being emotional? Okay, you hit it well.
I hid it very well. I was like straight A student, most cheerful in my class, graduating class, like just always happy because when I wasn't at home, I was happy. I mean, my mom and I are very
Okay, yeah,
close
yeah.
and she knows everything now. She didn't then. We were close
Okay,
then, but I never told her all those things because I was terrified to. And she
right,
tells me now how bad she feels because she wished I would have come to her. She would have done something, but
yeah,
I had been so convinced that she would kill me that it was my fault that I was afraid to go to her because I
Right.
didn't want to
Right.
lose my mother, her companionship. I love my mom so much,
Her
she's like,
love, her
you know,
love, yeah,
so I was afraid to tell her
yeah.
anything, but I was super happy everywhere I went. I was a gymnast, I was dancing, I was doing all kinds of things. I was just super involved in everything I could be. And and it was kind of funny because my choir teacher in high school when I was a senior gave me an award, and she called it the Chameleon Award because I didn't belong in any niche. Even though I was an athlete, I competed in gymnastics, I
Mm,
competed on the cross country running team. I was even a cheerleader at one point for a couple years, and then I ran track but I was friends with every clique. I had friends in the druggie clique, friends in the
right,
sports
right,
clique, friends in the
yeah,
studious clique, friends in the nerd clique, just, I had friends everywhere. I was friends with everybody. And
right,
so I didn't
yeah,
have that
yeah,
that stigma of, you know, "Oh, she's a jock, she's, whatever." Um,
right,
I just
yeah,
was friends with everybody, and I kind of when
right,
people would ask me as a kid what I wanted to do when grew up, I would always say, "I don't know, but I wanna help people. I know I wanna help people." And that's always been my
yeah,
goal. Like, I never
sure,
really decided exactly what I wanted to be, but
yeah,
I knew I wanted to help people, and that's what I always ended up getting into,
right,
you know,
right,
with things. Every job I've had has been helping people. So and I
right,
still do.
right. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you've spoken about your faith. Well, I know
Mm.
that you come from a strong faith, and that's been your guiding force. How did your faith I guess it was your faith who sustained you all these years, through those dark times.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
did your
didn't
parents take you to church? Were your parents religious?
no. No. My mom taught us the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, that prayer.
Mhm, mhm.
I knew that memorized before I went to kindergarten. That was, like, the one thing, and she would tell us that God loves us. She would tell us that,
Yeah.
she would also scare us and say, "I might not see the things you do wrong, but God will, and he'll punish you." And so
Right.
I had this, like, fear of God, like he was this big scary guy in the sky, but I didn't really understand
Yeah.
about religion, and I just knew God. And so religion for me, I would go in the woods, climb a tree, hiding from people sometimes,
Yeah.
and just talk to God. Like, "Hey, God, I here I am, and, please help me with this." And I would pray every night when I went to bed. I would say that prayer, and then I would add things to it and, just talk to God like he were right there with me. And
Yeah.
and I believe he
Yeah.
was. I really do, because despite
Yeah.
my ignorance about religion, I know
Right.
now that I'm not ignorant about it, that he was
Yeah.
always with me. He was protecting me from worse things. I know that. I really
Yeah.
believe that.
Right. Yeah.
So, what
Well, I mean, many people experience trauma and they struggle to trust again. I mean,
mhm.
what helped you rebuild that trust? Was it your faith with God and faith in yourself that you were gonna come out of this?
It was
How did I mean, your trauma, how did you were you able to come out of it?
mostly. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but I am
Okay.
mostly,
Yeah.
every time I say, "Oh, I think I'm out of it now," something else comes up.
Right.
And it's like, "Oh, wait, I
Yeah.
still need to work on some things." So,
Right, 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 right.
I do, but I I'm always actively pursuing that healthy response and healthy life at this
Right.
point. And
Exactly, exactly. And you
what
did experience joy in your life. You
I
had
did.
children.
I
You have twin
absolutely.
daughters.
My amazing daughters
Yes.
are
You were married,
uh-huh.
right? You got married, you
Yes,
had twin daughters.
yes,
Beautiful.
yes. Unfortunately, the marriage ended in divorce after almost 20 years, but we get along now, and we're better as friends,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
you know
That's not bad.
and
That's
he's a
not
great
bad,
dad.
Patty, 20
The
years.
girls exactly, exactly, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and my daughters are amazing. I homeschooled them their whole lives, and they graduated at 16 from high school, started college at 16, graduated at 20 with honors. They're doing
Wow.
amazing. They're fantastic. They're 25 now, and I'm just so proud of them. Um, and
Right.
I feel like they're my greatest contribution to society, you know? Because they
Yeah, of
everything
course.
they
Of
do,
course.
all the things that they are, and they're I'm really, really proud of them. Um, and yeah,
That's
and
wonderful.
yeah, they really
It's
are.
it's
Thank
wonderful
you.
that you have your daughters and to give you that love that you deserved because to me, you missed out on a lot of love growing up
Yeah,
because
I
of the
did.
abuse.
Yeah,
That's what I see and I hear.
yeah,
And not only did you have the 2 beautiful daughters, but at the same time, you were battling cancer. Let's talk about that.
yeah. Well, first I had skin cancer on my nose, and it was this huge bubble that we didn't have insurance and we didn't have the money to get it looked at. And when I finally did, I was told it was basal cell carcinoma. I needed to get this really painful Mohs procedure done. And on that day, when I had that procedure done, two friends came with me from the synagogue that I went to at the time. And they were with me when the doctor gave me instructions. And he said, you know, don't do this, don't do that. And above all, no stress. You need to avoid all stress. And they looked at each other and they looked at
Yeah,
me and they said, you're not going home. And that was the day I
yeah,
left my now ex husband
yeah,
and we went and lived with friends, my daughters and I. And 2 years later, we filed for divorce and stuff. But that was in December of 2013 when I had that procedure done. Um, it was right before Thanksgiving or right around Thanksgiving time-ish that I had been diagnosed with it, and then, a year later, almost to the date, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that was when I was finally in
wow,
my own apartment with my daughters. They were 14 at the time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how do I do this?" And I was praying and I was begging God for it not to be cancer, and what got me through that was I clearly heard him tell me, I clearly heard God say, "Trust me, I'm building your testimony." And at that point, I knew it was gonna be cancer even before the biopsy, but I knew I was gonna be okay because he said he's building my testimony, and every time I share my testimony, it helps someone, and I praise God for that because I created my
yeah,
own lotions and stuff
yes,
at that time and used that for the burn from radiation, and as a result, I've been able to help a lot of other cancer patients with their radiation burns by just giving them this lotion that I make and, helping them because my radiation oncologist, when the burn was at its worst, and we're talking red and just horrible and excruciatingly painful, and it was my entire chest. The cancer was on the left side, but it burned like under my arm and my back and just everywhere. It was so horrible. But my doctor said it looked great. And it was because there were no blisters and it just looked great. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It looks great. And he asked me what I was using on it.
yeah.
I told him I make my own lotion. He wanted the ingredients. I told him. And he said, okay, I'm gonna have you keep using that because that works better than the prescription I was gonna give you. So, keep doing what you're doing." And I'm like,
Wow,
"Okay, I'm
wow.
onto something
So
here."
you had radiation.
Yes, I had a
Yeah, so you had
lumpectomy.
radiation for your cancer.
Yeah,
No chemo.
no,
No
thank God.
chemo?
No. I did not have chemo.
Okay,
What I
I
had
had chemo.
Oh, you had chemo.
Right,
Um, I've
I
heard,
did.
and I
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, I've heard that chemo is worse than radiation in the short term. but radiation's worse in the long term. And I can tell you 10 and a half years later, I still suffer from things from radiation. In the sun, I live in Las Vegas. It's a
No
desert.
kidding.
It's hot. When the sun gets really
Wow.
intense,
Yeah.
I get really bad pain. And
Yeah.
I jokingly tell people I have a superpower. I can shoot lightning bolts out my nipple because that's how bad the pain is. And it just is this electric pain that
Yeah.
just goes through my breast. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was within a year that I was diagnosed with 2 different cancers and had to fight that and
Wow.
stay positive because,
Yeah.
as a cancer survivor, the most important thing is your attitude. You have to stay positive through it or
Right.
you're not gonna make it.
Well,
You've
not only
gotta
that,
be
you're
positive.
raising children. I was raising children. Right. You were raising children. We had to keep the home. We still had to make dinner. We still had to pick up the kids.
Yeah.
We still had to go on and do our jobs and raise the children. I did have chemo for a year and a half. I did not have radiation, so I can't speak on the radiation.
Mhm.
My other girlfriend at the same time had cancer also.
Oh,
She had the radiation. And, cancer is a bitch, but
yeah,
we get through it.
we do.
We get through it. We just say, "Okay, we have it. We gotta deal with it and just move on."
Mhm. Yeah,
We're mothers. We have to keep going for our children. And
exactly.
I didn't think twice. Showed up every week for my poison, and, I had the double mastectomy,
Oh,
and
wow.
I got these 2 beautiful breasts now. I mean,
You
look
look
at my breasts,
fantastic.
Patty.
You're gorgeous. Mine have all kinds of scars on them, but, they're still there.
I mean, I have to say I have beautiful breasts now. But if anybody wants to shoot me, they can shoot me in the breast because I won't feel it. So that's one of the benefits, one of the
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah, really.
But, you had to raise your 2 girls alone while going through cancer.
Yeah.
That must have been very difficult, and tell me what other trauma you had after the cancer and your girls. There was one more thing I wanna talk about, your accident.
Yeah. That was 5 years ago. I was stopped at a red light, and I was, you know, right there at the red light, stopped, and someone behind me didn't notice the red light and slammed into me, rear-ended me going 45 miles an hour. As a result, I have 9 herniated discs in my back. 3 well, there are 4 in my cervical spine, 5 in my lumbar spine, 3 of which are ruptured, leaked fluid
Wow.
into my spinal fluid, and yeah, horrendous pain. Um, but thankfully, I didn't have surgery. My my surgeon at one point was talking about it, but he said, "Let's try physical therapy first." And so I started going to physical therapy. And prior to that accident, I had been working out at this amazing gym here in Vegas, Camp Rhino, where I had lost some weight because after having my daughters, I didn't lose weight. I was afraid to lose weight. I was done with, I didn't want to be hit on by people. I didn't want to be attractive to people. Even my husband, I mean, I just
Right.
was like, I mean, I felt bad, but I just couldn't lose the
Yeah,
weight and
yeah,
gained a lot of
yeah.
weight. And
Let's stop
then
right there, Patty, because let's stop right there because I do wanna address that.
okay.
There's a lot of women there's a lot of women that keep the weight or feel that they need to have that weight as a shield
Yeah.
to protect themselves from being noticed,
Mhm.
right? They don't wanna be noticed. They were abused, so they wanna mask how they look, they wanna mask their body, and
Exactly.
they put on the weight. They put on the weight because they wanna feel that no one's looking at them then. Okay, I have
Yeah.
this weight, no one's looking at me, I'm not attractive. So there is that type of I don't know what kind of syndrome that's called or if there's a name for that, but,
Honestly, I think
I do know that there's a lot of women out there that mask themselves and
mhm.
put on this weight because they feel they need to be protected
Yeah.
from
From the
men
trauma.
looking at them
Yeah.
because they were abused,
Yeah.
because they were abused.
Yeah. And that was me. And
So
I
go
think,
on.
honestly, I don't
Yeah,
know for sure, but I think it's part of the complex PTSD that you develop over years of abuse, you know? I worked at
yeah.
a safe house for sex trafficking victims for a while, a few years ago. Well, actually, when the accident happened, but, and that was where I was learning more about complex PTSD and realized that, "Oh, wow, this is totally me." But,
Yeah.
so, that was me. I didn't wanna be attractive to people. I was afraid, and, you know, the whole freezing thing, like, I was terrified that something would happen, and I didn't want that to happen, you know? Here I am married, I've got my 2 daughters. I was just so afraid, and so I just let myself keep gaining weight, and then after the accident, I got really depressed because I went from doing this fun exercise and losing a little weight, getting stronger, and then bam, the accident happened, and I couldn't even walk. And I weighed over 200 pounds at that point. I don't remember exactly how much I weighed at that point, but I was over 200 and I was using a walker and I could barely make it up the stairs to my front door.
Wow.
And I needed help
Yeah.
all the
And you were
time.
5'3".
Yeah,
5'3",
5'3", almost
right?
5'3". Yeah,
So
5
5
foot
foot
2 and
3,
3/4,
200 pounds.
over
Yeah,
200. Yeah, probably like
200
230 or
pounds.
so. Yeah.
Wow,
And my
wow.
legs wouldn't work because the damage that was done in my spine,
Yeah.
of course, the nerves and everything, my legs, I couldn't function, I couldn't walk, I needed the walker. I, um, I had to have my daughter stay with me in the shower, like, stand right outside. I had a little stool in the shower to take my showers because I couldn't stand that long. It hurt too much, and I was so afraid of falling,
Wow.
and I did fall a couple times during that time, and I felt at one point, I fell and gave myself a concussion, a second concussion, because the first concussion happened in the accident, so I did have the brain injury or whatever they call it, TMI or T no, T TBI, traumatic brain injury, yeah, TBI. Um,
Mm,
and so then I got a second one because
TBI.
yeah, yeah, TMI is too much information. But anyway, yeah, I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I fell and slammed the back of my head on the metal part of, that holds the bed frame and gave myself another concussion. So I just, I was
Mm,
really, really afraid to fall. And, I ended up gaining more weight and just sitting around and
yeah.
taking down a row of cookies with my coffee in the morning. And, I'd have another sip of
Wow.
coffee and think, "Oh, there's about this much coffee left. I'll have another cookie. Why not?" And I just ate garbage. I just ate garbage. And when I really woke up was in February of 2023. So 3 years after, well, almost 3 years after the accident, about 2.5 years after the accident, because the accident was in October of 2020. So, February of 2023, I went in for a procedure in my spine. They're giving me injections. They gave me radio frequency ablation, which is where they cut the medial nerve in my lumbar spine for the 3 ruptured discs so that my brain wouldn't send, or the nerves wouldn't send the signal of pain to my brain. Um, and so I was having that procedure
Mm,
done, and of course, they weigh you because they put you under for that, and the anesthesia needs to know the anesthetician needs to know your weight for how much medication to use, and I weighed 290 pounds, and I was just
wow.
disgusted. I was
Wow.
absolutely disgusted with myself. I
Yeah.
I would I wouldn't even look in the mirror at myself much at that point because I knew I had gained so much weight, and I was like,
Yeah.
"No, I cannot believe I weigh 290 pounds." And I was like, "That's it. This is changing, and this is changing now."
Yeah.
And
Now, were your daughters with you at this time?
they were living with me still,
Were
yeah,
you
they still live with me, yeah, they
okay.
live with me
So
still.
your daughters never broached the idea to you, "Hey, mom, are you're gaining weight," or, "Hey," or were they gaining weight with you?
They were starting to gain a little weight with me. Um, but they're dancers. They dance Latin dance and, they were taking better care of themselves. They were still working out and doing things, so they weren't as bad as I was, of course. But at that time, it was the depression, it was just everything. I was unable to work. I just I was stuck, and everything just started pouring through. All the things in my life just started coming up in my brain, and it was like, "What am I doing?" Because my goal from the moment I found out I was pregnant, my goal was to be the best mother I could be, the best example I could be, a godly example,
Right.
and I realized that by letting myself get so heavy and so unhealthy, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and I was like, I am a terrible example. What am I doing to myself, to my daughters? Like, I can't do this. And
Yeah.
so I started
Yeah.
that day. I had ordered online, I had seen this ad for Dr. Kellyanne bone broth. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll try it. So I ordered it. I didn't start using it right away, but I had it. And
Right.
I started using it, like, I want to say that day or the next day, I started using it. And within 2 weeks, it was
You
11 days
started
later.
drinking it,
Yes, I started
Patty.
drinking the bone broth every
You
day.
started drinking it.
Yes, because it comes in packets.
Okay.
So I would mix it with hot water, drink it instead of a
Okay.
meal. It filled me up. And I was like, wow, this is really good stuff. I like it. So I,
So this is something you saw online.
yes, I saw an ad on Facebook.
Nobody told you about it.
Nope, nope.
Okay.
I found it on Facebook. I saw an ad and I clicked it and I was like, huh, this looks really cool. And now that I've met Dr. Kellyanne herself, I can tell you she's an amazing woman. But I got that feeling from her in the ad. And I was like, I'm going to try this.
That's right.
Maybe this will work. And then, like I said, out of fear, I didn't start it right away. I ordered it, but I hadn't used it yet. And so on that day, I swore to myself, I cut out all soda, all sugar, all um, chips, sodium, salt, anything unhealthy. And I already was eating kosher, so I didn't eat pork or seafood or, things. Um, and I just cut out all that stuff. And I basically just drank the bone broth. And I noticed when I went to my primary care doctor 11 days after that surgical day for just a regular blood work checkup, blood work results checkup kind of thing, um, my doctor told me that I was now full blown diabetic. And I just sat there in
Mm.
tears. And when he weighed me, he said, you know, I weighed like 279. So I had already lost 11 pounds in that 11 days. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And so I
Yeah.
was
A
like,
pound a
okay.
day.
Or yeah, it was about a pound a day. It might have been a couple more than 11 days now that I think about it. But it was 11 pounds. It was less than 2
Mhm.
weeks and it was 11 pounds. So, um, and I was noticing a difference. Like, I was noticing I just felt a little better, like my knees weren't hurting quite as
Mhm.
much because every time I woke up and got out of bed, my knees would hurt. And they weren't hurting so much because the bone broth is so
Mhm.
healthy, full of collagen, full of protein, just everything you need. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'm onto something here, And I just, so I
Yeah.
continued using it.
Yeah.
And like a month later, someone from the Dr. Kellyanne company called me just to kind of, because they saw I had ordered, they were from the call
Oh.
center. They called me and said, how are things going? Are you enjoying the product? And I told them, yeah, I really like it. What other products are there? Like, what, should I be doing something else? And now, 3 years later, this lady, Misty is her name. She and I are good friends because she works for the company. She works in the call center. She knows all about the products. And whenever I need something, I call her, and it's not a network marketing program. It's a real company, and it's, a legit
Right.
thing. So, I'm not getting any commission by telling people about this company, but I swear by this company at this point because Dr. Kellyanne
Yeah.
and her team and Misty, they basically saved my life. With God and them,
Wow.
my life was saved because I stuck to it. Um, I asked my doctor that day with tears in my eyes if it was because I was so heavy. And he kind of shrugged his shoulders, didn't want to tell me, but said, yeah, pretty much. That's why. And I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
going to change.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, we'll see,
Yeah.
because everybody says they're going to change, but they don't do it or they don't follow through or they do a little
Right.
bit and
Right.
then they
Right. Right.
stop. And that was me before too. So I'm not
Right. Right.
putting
And
anybody down by that. That
yeah.
was that was me before too.
No, no.
But
But but I but I will say that I'm a little disappointed in these doctors not speaking out and being honest with the patient, being
mm,
honest and telling people, "Hey, you're unhealthy. You need to lose weight." And I don't mean a little weight.
yeah,
I'm not talking about 15 pounds. You
no,
need to lose like 75 pounds and you better get on it now.
yeah,
Let me help you set something up.
right.
Let me help you talk to a nutrition. Let me help you guide you here. But you know why they don't? Because they don't have time. Because they have to see another patient then.
Yep.
So I have to say I'm disappointed in doctors not taking
Yeah.
the lead and helping their patients who are
Mhm.
struggling. And I mean he saw you.
Yeah,
He saw you.
yeah,
How could he not? How could he not mention to you
I
or say
know.
to you, Patty, you have let's do something now.
Yeah,
How can
I
he
know,
not?
I know, I know, but
And so it's awful, but I'm glad you found Dr. Kellyanne. I did
yeah.
investigate, well, research her
Uh-huh,
and bone broth, but I already knew about bone broth being a
yeah.
personal trainer.
Oh,
Bone
yeah.
broth is a wonderful, yeah, bone broth is a wonderful, wonderful broth to drink. It's one of the best. It has a lot of collagen. It
Mhm.
fills you up
Yep.
and people can use it for one meal. You were using it for one meal or two
At
meals? How
first,
were you
1 meal.
incorporating the bone broth?
At first, it was 1
Okay.
meal, and then,
Okay.
after that first phone call with Misty, I started getting some of her other products. I used their lemon sip, which is like a powder, collagen lemon powder that you put in your water, and I drink it. I
Mhm.
drink 80 to 100 ounces of water every day. I have my Wonder Woman mug, 40 ounces that I use. I I I'm a big fan of Wonder Woman. Um, but, I drink at least
You
2 of
are
these
Wonder Woman,
a day.
Patty.
Thank you.
Patty, you are Wonder Woman.
I have
You
loved
hear
Wonder
me?
Woman since I was a kid. Thank
The
you.
abuse
That's a huge compliment
the
to me.
abuse you went through, having children, coming out of it, being strong and healthy, dealing with your weight, the
Thank you.
cancer. You are Superwoman.
Thank
You are
you.
Wonder Woman,
Thank you.
I
That
have to
means so
say.
much. You
And
really have
Wonder
no
Woman was
idea.
Latina. Do you hear me? Wonder Woman was Latina. So there you go. She wasn't
Definitely.
Cuban. She wasn't
That's
Cuban.
okay.
I mean, her grandmother was Mexican, but
Yes.
more power to you.
I
But,
thank you. But yeah, so
tell me what you do now. You exercise now?
I do.
You work out
I
now? You dance? Tell us
mhm.
what you do now.
I drink my lemon sip every day, 80 to 100 ounces of water. I drink my bone broth every day. I add the bone broth protein collagen powder to my coffee in the morning, which actually it's not coffee, it's called mud water. And it's better than coffee. It's made with all these mushrooms and that are cancer fighting as well. Um, so it's organic. It's really healthy. It's more like a tea than a coffee, but I add that to my well mud water every day to get the extra protein and the collagen. Um, and then that's what I drink in the morning. I call it my meal in a mug, my, you know, Dr. Kellyanne meal in a mug thing. And that's what I have in the morning. In the
Now,
afternoon,
Patty
I'll drink bone broth. Yeah. What?
okay. Can you do you cook with the bone broth instead of using chicken broth or beef broth?
Oh,
Do you use
yeah.
the bone broth to
Mhm.
cook?
Oh, yeah, if I'm gonna, like,
Okay.
season
So
something,
you're
I
using
use
it
the
for
bone broth too, but I always just drink it
yeah.
because it tastes so good.
Okay.
Their newest flavor is the Greek lemon chicken, and that is my absolute favorite. It is so good. Like, I tasted it and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is my new favorite." Because their French onion is really great, that's my other favorite. The rosemary and thyme is one of my favorites, and the classic chicken. Those are my 4 favorites, but the Greek lemon chicken, number 1. And the lemon sip is my staple,
Yeah.
and
Well,
the
maybe
vanilla
you can
protein. Huh? What was that?
well, maybe you can get maybe you can get Doctor Kelly to send me some samples so I can try it and I can 'cause I would love to promote it.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. I wish you would. She's every bit amazing
Yeah.
as the stuff she makes. It's incredible stuff, and that's been my staple. I drink it every day.
Yeah.
I make a protein shake in the afternoon. Um, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to our Latin dance school and take bachata classes, which going from 290
Nice.
pounds down to 129 pounds. And then my oncologist got mad with me
Wow.
because I went a little too low. I mean, I in college, I'm a small framed person. I was a gymnast. I weighed like 115,
Yeah.
120 in college. But after having twins and, life, I'm definitely not gonna get back down to that in a healthy way. So, I gained a little weight back. I'm, like, between
Yeah.
140 and 150 now, and that's a healthy weight for me at this point in my life. And I feel great. And if I hadn't lost all that weight, I wouldn't
Yeah. As
be
long as
able
you
to
feel
dance
great.
and shake my
Yeah.
hips the way I do and, do the things I
Right.
do now. I run
Yeah.
upstairs. I you know,
Yeah.
I can do things again, and so I feel alive again. I wanna say I feel like me again, but I'm more than that. I'm more than what I was,
Yes.
because
Good.
my
Right.
biggest thing getting over the trauma of my past was that my past does not define me, and it wasn't my fault.
That's right.
It doesn't
That's
define
right.
me, and it's not who I
That's
am,
right. It wasn't your
and
fault.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the
It
real
wasn't your
thing
fault.
that
Yeah, it
women
wasn't
need
your
to
fault.
definitely understand is that
Yeah.
abuse is not your fault
Yeah.
and that you deserve better. And whatever form that is, I see now so many women that are overweight and I'm like, you know, friends of mine, I'm like, use this Dr. Kellyanne bone broth. It works. This is how I've lost all this weight.
Yeah.
And it's the real deal. And I can exercise now. And yeah, I can't
Yeah.
do as much like vacuuming causes my back to hurt. Leaning over the sink to wash dishes causes my back to hurt. I still have the injuries, but dancing doesn't make it hurt. Exercising healthily and not like lifting
Right.
and bending too much doesn't make my back hurt. So I can
Right.
dance. I went to a dance social 2 weeks ago at our dance studio
Yeah.
for the first time and was able to dance at it instead of just watching my daughters perform on their team. I was dancing the whole night. I was there from 10 PM till 2 AM. And, like, I never do that anymore, but
Wow.
I did, and I felt
Yeah.
amazing and so happy and just
Yeah.
it's like I know in my brain and on my birth certificate, I'm gonna be 60 next year, but, like, I don't feel it at all,
Yeah.
and I don't act it for
Yeah.
sure.
Good for you. Yeah.
Everybody will tell you that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Good
just
for you.
I'm
Good for you.
happy. I'm
And
really
yeah.
happy. I'm content. I'm
Good.
you know
That's exactly what I wanna hear from you, Patty, that you're happy, you've overcome
Yeah,
you overcome, your early life, the abuse, the cancer. You have 2 beautiful children. You're healthy now. You're strong. You're
yes,
fit.
yes.
That's the note we're gonna end on now, Patty.
Okay,
Thank you so much
you're
for
very
coming on
welcome.
and sharing your story.
Thank
It's
you.
important that women hear that you can overcome these
Yeah.
adversities. You can
Exactly.
overcome the abuse. You can overcome cancer, and you can be whole again
Yeah.
and be, alive again.
Yes.
And God bless you. And
Yeah.
thank you, Patty, for coming
Thank
on.
you.
And if you
Thank you
want
for
to
having me.
share Dr. Kellyanne's information, I'll put it in the notes for other people to try the broth.
Sure. Yeah, I will text you Misty's number. She helps
Yes.
everybody, um, people that saw me in the magazine like you did. And Dr. Kellyanne doesn't pay me to do these promotions either on the magazine or the TV commercial we filmed in September. She doesn't pay me for that. I willingly do it because I'm grateful for what has how her product and she have and Misty have transformed my life, you know? I'm just really
Yeah.
grateful. So, I can text you Misty's number because Misty ordering through like, if you order online, it's a little more expensive and on Amazon, but if you order through their call
Right.
center and, of course, I want Misty to, you know, be the ones they talk to because she knows my story and she knows what I
Sure.
use. So, I can
Yes.
text you Misty's number and her work number, obviously, and, um, she's in Florida, so she's on the Eastern Time Zone, and
Well,
and I know she'll be happy to help anyone that is interested in the Dr. Kellyanne bone broth and other products that she makes too, because I use all of it. I use everything. She's got
yeah.
amazing stuff, um, and I just want to also say, like, cancer doesn't have to be a death sentence. It's and you know that too.
That's
It's
right.
all about attitude, stay positive. I had to work. I would get up at 4:35 in the morning, go to work 7 hours, leave early to go to the radiation treatment. Usually had to have someone drive me home. My daughters would homeschool themselves at that point. They were 14 when I was going through this. They
Mm,
turned 15 about a month after I finished treatment. Um, and they basically would come lie on my bed with me and tell me everything they learned, and I didn't have to give them tests because it was like, "Well, you just told me everything that I'm reading right here, so you know your stuff. Good job. Keep
yeah.
going. Let's keep doing this." And we had friends that would make meals for us
Yeah.
and, don't be afraid to tell people when you're suffering from it or fighting it, but just say, "This is my battle right
That's
now."
right.
Don't say, "I have it," because you don't have it.
That's
Don't
right.
claim it. Just
Yeah.
fight it and
Yeah.
let people know that you need help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's, like, a big thing that I
That's right.
want
That's right.
people to know
That's
too,
right.
and if you're struggling, don't be afraid to
Yeah.
get counseling. Find someone who can help you through the trauma of abuse and sexual abuse, and know that life has so much more out there for you. God has a purpose for everyone. And at 59 years old, I'm figuring out my purpose, which is what I've always said. I want to help people. And through my testimony and through everything I've been through, I'm grateful because I've come through it. I've overcome it. And
Mhm.
here I am
Yeah.
sharing it. And whoever is going to see this, I hope that it encourages them to overcome whatever it is, because life is tough and
And seek help, and
seek
seek
help.
help, and reach out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Well,
so much for
wonderful.
having
Thank
me
you
on
so
here.
much,
Thank
Patty. We
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing that commercial.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's out yet, but, I was told I texted them
Okay.
and let them know about
So
this interview today, so hopefully they're gonna watch it too and reach out to you as
excellent,
well.
excellent. And when
So,
we see the commercial, I can say, "I know that person."
yay!
Very nice. Well, Patty, thank you so much.
You're
You take
welcome. Thank
care.
you so much too, Trish. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.